One, not 100 or 1,000 and all the nonsense we have today. It was one station. It was NBC, Channel 5. And you watched it on the screen about that big, which would bring families close together. If you actually wanted to see the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the programming was pretty silly, except on Saturday mornings, when the programming was cool. Because we had cowboys. The kind of cowboys that wore $600 boots on the outside of their pants so you could see that they were $600 boots. Of course, in those days they were probably 60, I don't know. Well, you could buy a whole damn horse for $600 back then. But I was like Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers, Gene Autry. All of them had one thing in common. They always had a sidekick. You had to have the, sort of like the Ed McMahon of the Western world, you know. My favorite was the Cisco Kid. Now you may say he was not a cowboy because he wore a sombrero. But he was definitely a cowboy. Cisco was probably before the cowboys, so he led the way. Partly because he had a cool outfit. I would buy that outfit now if I could find it. I don't know if I'd wear it because I look like a Sazitza, but it was a great outfit. Great sombrero. And he had a sidekick, Pancho. These guys were also my heroes because Duncan Ronaldo, who was Cisco Kid, did not start being the Cisco Kid until he was 56. That's when he started, friends. And Leo Carrillo, who was Pancho, when he started, he was 74. I think they lasted 6 years or 8 years. He was like 81 or 2 when they went off the air, and he was still riding that damn horse. You know, you gotta give him credit. Wow, that was one badass sidekick. But the Cisco Kid was cool. He had a horse named Diablo, a pinto horse. I didn't know what Diablo meant. It just really sounded cool. So I didn't know a lot as a kid. I just took everything at face value. My dad one day told me, he said, I know the Cisco Kid. My father was Irish. So you never know if you were getting a straight scoop or just a wee bit of Blarney. But then one day he told me, he said, I'm going to introduce you to the Cisco Kid. And though he did tell me a lot of stories, he never lied to me. That's what the song's about, because he did that. Like so many little boys do, I needed someone that I could look up to. A man who had laws that he would enforce, and who wore a sombrero and rode a fast pinto horse. My daddy knew the Cisco Kid. I know it's hard to believe, but he did. Back in 1953. No, I'll do the math that way. Though I never did meet Pancho, it meant all the world to me. I was my dad's biggest fan when I rode in his black sedan. I wore a cowboy hat that was secondhand, but it was mine. He was not a wealthy man. He ended up where he began. And though he never really had a plan, here's the bottom line. He was many things to many folks, not so much to others. And I know he wasn't always there for me and my two brothers. But amid his sins and failures, there is one bright shining star. And I've told this story many times, and I know it sounds bizarre. My daddy knew this is school kid. I know it's hard to believe, but he did, 'cause he introduced us back in 1953. Though I never did meet Pancho, it meant all the world to me. My daddy said to me one day, climb up in my Chevrolet. And as I did, we drove away. I knew this was something big. We drove up to a rodeo. My daddy's face was all aglow, 'cause he knew something I didn't know, but not for long. We climbed an 8-foot fence, and then we snuck by a policeman. And all the while he's yelling out, "Come on, we're almost there, son." And before I knew it, there I was in front of you know who. My daddy knew this is school kid. I know it's hard to believe, but he did, 'cause he introduced us back in 1953. Though I never did meet Pancho, it meant all the world to me. My dad, he didn't stay too long. Sang one too many drinking songs. But I so miss when I tag along and he held my hand. And even though he's gone away, know we'll meet again someday. And everything will be okay in that promised land. And I know he will be happy to see me once again. And I know he will be standing there right next to my old friend.